I have been asked to share a letter with you from our bishop. Dear brothers and sisters in Christ, I write to you concerning an alarming and serious matter that negatively impacts the church in the United States directly, and that strikes at the fundamental right to religious liberty for all citizens of any faith. The federal government, which claims to be of, by, and for the people, has just dealt a heavy blow to almost a quarter of those people, the Catholic population, and to the millions more who are served by the Catholic faithful. The United States Department of Health and Human Services announced last week that almost all employers, including Catholic employers, such as New Hampshire Catholic Charities, Catholic Medical Center, and St. Anselm College, will be forced to offer their employees health coverage that includes sterilization, abortion-inducing drugs, and contraception. Almost all health insurers will be forced to include those services in the health policies they write. And almost all individuals will be forced to buy that coverage as part of their policies. In so ruling, the administration has cast aside the First Amendment to the Constitution of the United States, denying to Catholics our nation's first and most fundamental freedom, that of religious liberty. As a result, unless the rule is overturned, we Catholics will be compelled either to violate our consciences or to drop health care coverage for our employees and suffer the penalties for doing so. The administration's sole concession was to give our institutions 1 year to comply. We will not comply with this unjust law. People of faith cannot be made second-class citizens. We are already joined by our brothers and sisters of all faiths and many others of goodwill in this important effort to gain our religious freedom. Our parents and grandparents did not come to these shores to help build America's cities and towns, its infrastructure and institutions, its enterprise and culture, only to have their posterity stripped of their God-given rights. In generations past, the Church has always been able to count on the faithful to stand up and protect her sacred rights and duties. I hope and trust she can count on this generation of Catholics to do the same. Our children and grandchildren deserve nothing less. And therefore, I would ask of you two things. First, as a community of faith, we must commit ourselves to prayer and fasting, that wisdom and justice may prevail and religious liberty may be restored. Without God, we can do nothing. With God, nothing is impossible. Second, I would also recommend visiting the United States Catholic Conference of Bishops website to learn more about this severe assault on religious liberty and how to contact Congress in support of legislation that would reverse the administration's decision. Faithfully yours in the all-holy Trinity and the most blessed Mother of God, Most Reverend Peter A. Labashi, Bishop of Manchester. Now, I spoke about this last week, and I talked about the sensitivity of the issue because of the separation of church and state. And so there is a constitutional issue here of religious liberty and religious freedom. That's one side of the coin. But my brothers and sisters, there is another side to the coin too. And the other side to the coin is we have to ask ourselves, how is it possible that something like this can happen when Catholics comprise 25% of the population? And the truth of the matter is that the government has really done their homework. They know that most Catholics dissent from church teaching and really don't care about this. And so when we don't care about this, and statistics show that many women and men who are Catholic contracept. And so when we dissent, we demonstrate our attitude that we don't care. Because you have to ask yourself, why would anybody institute a policy, a law, with an upcoming election, unless they understood that most of the people that it's going to affect aren't going to care and matter. But everybody should care about this. And everybody should care about this because while you may dissent, while you might not care about this particular issue, there are many who do. And if we don't stand up and if we don't unite and we don't begin to protest these infringements upon religious liberty now, the day will come when there will be more liberties that will be infringed upon, and it will come knocking on the door. And then it may be too late. This is why everyone should care about this. Everybody should care about this. And so I repeat the bishop's request to do two things. First and foremost, that we, as people of faith, pray and fast. Nothing but nothing is accomplished without prayer. Without God, we can do nothing. Jesus is clear about that. He speaks about it in the 15th chapter of John's Gospel. I am the vine, you are the branches. Apart from me, you can do nothing. And he was clear that sometimes things are only going to change through fasting. I am so pleased that our bishop is making this request and asking us not only to pray, but to fast. To fast. And the second thing that he's asking us to do is to contact our representatives. If you go to our website, and hopefully many of you have checked out our website, we have a brand new website. Right on the home page is the bishop's letter. And if you click onto the bishop's letter, it's going to take you right to all of the links that you need to get to with regards to our representatives in Washington, their addresses, and how to contact them and what to say. You know, in Luke's Gospel, in the 10th chapter, in the 19th verse, Jesus says to his apostles, "He who hears you, hears me. He who does not hear you, does not hear me." Our bishop is a successor to the apostles. To listen to the bishop when he speaks in matters of faith and morals is to listen to the voice of Christ himself. I was mindful when we sang the responsorial psalm together today. If today you hear his voice, harden not your hearts. Now is the time that we must unite together as people of faith, people who appreciate freedom and liberty, and to pray and to fast, that with God we can stand together and that this law can be abolished and reversed.